The docking bay of Concord Dawn pulsed with dim violet light, sterile and massive, carved into the side of an ancient asteroid orbiting Proxima Centauri b. High above the platform, alien banners floated in magnetic stasis, each bearing the sigils of long-dead empires. Below them, Captain Elena Rourke walked with steady, deliberate steps. Her uniform was sharp, her expression unreadable. The alien guards barely acknowledged her as she passed. Behind her trailed two aides, Lieutenant Malik and Dr. Kwan, both silent, both scanning everything. Their presence was ceremonial. Elena didn't need a security escort. The real power hovered in deep space, cloaked, waiting for her signal. Ambassador Vrexel Tharn stood at the far end of the chamber, surrounded by staff and slithering drones. His robe shimmered, embedded with nanoglyphs that reacted to speech. He didn't smile. His species hadn't evolved lips, but Elena had learned to read the angles of his posture. Condescension radiated from him like heat. "Captain Rourke," he said, voice modulated through a biotranslator. "You honor this council with your optimism." Elena's jaw tensed. "Ambassador Tharn, the honor lies in your accepting our audience. Let's hope it leads to mutual understanding." He gestured toward the corridor with one skeletal limb. "Of course. Right this way. The Concord awaits your petition." They moved in silence, flanked by tall, four-eyed sentries whose armor pulsed with internal light. The walls were lined with images of the founding Concord races, stoic, ancient, unimpressed. The diplomatic chamber was circular, tiered, and half-empty. Only 12 of the 47 member species were present for this preliminary hearing. Enough to stage humiliation, but not enough to risk actual policy. Elena understood the message: you are not worth a full audience. She stood at the central podium, alone under a wide beam of light. Elena Rourke, representative of Earth and commander of the United Nations Star Fleet. The system AI announced. Petitioning for equal seat in the Thyraxis Concord. Commence. Vrexel stood. Humanity's enthusiasm is charming, he began, words slithering through the chamber. But this Concord is no frontier market for aspiring civilizations. You request recognition, yet your kind barely emerged from its gravity well a century ago. Elena didn't blink. In that century, we've established 8 off-world colonies, open trade with 17 independent species, and reverse-engineered Concord tech we were never granted. Our fleets patrol 3 sectors. We are not a curiosity. We are a presence. A quiet ripple passed through the delegates. Vrexel turned slightly, a signal to control. Power accumulation does not equate to wisdom, he said, voice cooling. We offer protectorate status, peace, guidance, a future free of the burdens of overreach. Elena smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. You offer subservience. We've read that chapter in your history books. We prefer to write our own. Silence fell. Behind her, Malik leaned in slightly. He's baiting you. Let it lie. I know, she muttered. But they need to feel it. Vrexel's tone hardened. Human development, while admirable, is imitative. Dangerous. The Concord exists to preserve order. Earth's erratic behavior, the Skarn border incident, the Dazzle embargo, undermines peace. We resolved the Skarn incursion within 40 hours and preserved more lives than your envoy would have. She shot back. And the Dazzle embargo was your doing. We opened their trade routes. Another ripple, sharper this time. Vrexel's expression didn't change, but his spine stiffened. This council will deliberate. Until then, Earth's delegation is asked to remain within its assigned quarters. Independent contact with other species is discouraged. Of course, Elena said smoothly. Wouldn't want anyone else getting ideas. Back in her quarters, she sat in silence, arms crossed, eyes on the display that showed Concord Dawn's outer perimeter. Lieutenant Malik paced behind her. He wants us provoked. Public aggression justifies sanctions. He wants us to look small. Begging. Unstable, Elena said. So when he crushes the petition, it's a formality. Dr. Kwan stepped forward, her voice quiet but firm. The Aegis reports all systems ready. Cloaked. Fleets holding position beyond the solar perimeter. Elena nodded. Good. We'll show them we're not alone in this galaxy, and we're certainly not cornered. A soft chime interrupted. The screen blinked with alien symbols. Encrypted transmission. Source, Dazzle Delegation. Malik's eyes narrowed. That's unauthorized. Dazzle are under Concord's censure. Which means they have something worth saying. Elena tapped the interface. The screen lit with a translucent figure, Dazzle Speaker XDLI. A prism-like body, voice filtered through subharmonics. Captain Rourke? We owe Earth a debt. When our eggs died in vapor storms, your engineers rebuilt the hatching vaults. We remember. Elena kept her voice level. You honor us. But this contact could endanger your species. Vrexel has called a private council tomorrow, XDLI said. He intends to display Earth's rejected petition as spectacle. Laughter will follow. Malik swore. Elena only leaned forward. Let him set the stage, she said. We'll write the ending. That night, she stood alone at the viewport, watching distant stars blink like scattered code. Humiliation was the oldest weapon in the Concord's playbook. Every rising power had once faced it, before being absorbed or shattered. But none of them had Earth's history. None of them had Earth's patience. Elena tapped the comm unit. Fleet Command. This is Rourke. Synchronize clocks for phase reveal. Noon, station standard. A voice replied through encrypted static. Confirmed. All systems green. She turned back to the stars. Somewhere behind them, Steel hung silent, waiting. Let them mock Earth tomorrow. Let them laugh. And then let them see. The grand hall of the Concord High Table was alive with calculated indifference. Gleaming obsidian panels reflected the ambient glow of thousands of light sources, and from every curved row, alien dignitaries sat in silence, arranged by seniority, not equality. Elena Rourke stood alone in the arena at the chamber's center, a small human figure beneath the eye of a galactic hierarchy centuries older than her species' first orbital satellite. Above her, the Concorde seal rotated slowly in holographic light, cold and symmetrical. Captain Elena Rourke, the chamber AI announced. Representative of the Terran Confederation. Proceed with petition for sovereign status. Elena took one breath and stepped forward. Esteemed delegates, she began. Earth requests recognition not as a vassal, not as a curiosity, but as a peer. Our contributions to peacekeeping, commerce, and border stability speak for themselves. We have protected colonies your patrols abandoned. We've negotiated truces where your embassies failed. We have built, not begged. There was no applause. Just the silent, mechanical translation into 43 languages. From the upper ring, Vrexeltharn rose. His voice echoed, artificially warm. Captain Rourke, your world has indeed achieved. But achievement is not authority. Progress is not readiness. A child may grow tall but remains a child. Elena didn't flinch. That child has defended sectors you ignored. Our technology, though once derived from Concord archives, has evolved. Independently. Efficiently. Unregulated. Dangerous. Vrexel snapped. You push frontiers not meant for your hands. You interfere in interspecies disputes. You spread rapidly, destabilizing balance. She lifted her chin. Balance for whom? A murmur passed through the assembly. Several minor delegates glanced at one another. The question had landed. Vrexel continued undeterred. This council is not here to indulge declarations of pride. It is here to vote. Let us proceed. He gestured to the presiding AI. Motion, deny Earth's sovereign parity. Offer limited protectorate status under Concord supervision. Begin vote. Elena turned toward the viewing wall, where the tall spires of Concord dawn rose beyond the transparent shielding. She tapped a small device at her wrist, unnoticed by most. Malik's voice whispered in her earpiece. Fleet is in range. Cloak integrity at 100%. Final confirmation? Elena's voice was ice. Phase transition. Now. Outside the station, nothing moved. Then, in perfect silence, reality shimmered. One by one, vast black forms emerged from the nothingness, sleek hulls shaped for intimidation, not elegance. Each ship bore Earth's new emblem, a split-ringed Earth behind a rising star. The UNS Aegis, a behemoth of human and alien hybrid design, unfolded from its cloak like a leviathan emerging from the dark. Then came the others. Heavy cruisers. Orbital carriers. Shield ships flanked by hundreds of smaller interceptors. Dozens of them. Then hundreds. Within 60 seconds, a fully armed Terran fleet surrounded Concord Dawn on all axes, close enough for detail, distant enough to show restraint. The station's sensors screamed. Concord protocols flickered into alert. Back in the Grand Hall, a tremor passed through the air as the delegates received the same external feed. Elena walked calmly back to the podium. Let the Council see Earth's weakness. One of the larger reptilian ambassadors leaned forward, astonished. Your fleet, it's here? Now? Elena nodded. We've been here for 37 hours. Cloaked. Waiting. Vrexel stood, voice suddenly sharper. This is an act of aggression. No, Elena replied. This is an answer. You tried to portray us as unready. Now you see what we prepared in silence. The hall buzzed with layered speech and clicks as translations surged across species. Several minor factions immediately called for an adjournment. Elena turned toward the seated delegates. We didn't come to threaten. But neither did we come to beg. This fleet is not a threat. It's a promise. From the balcony, a chime sounded. Dazzle's speaker Extiali hovered into view. We acknowledge Earth's power, the crystalline diplomat said, voice resonating with gentle rhythm. More than that, we acknowledge their honor. The Terrans sheltered our dying colonies. Not because of politics. Because of principle. The hall shifted again, subtly, but unmistakably. Another delegate, this one from a feline-like species, rose next. Earth's presence has kept pirate clans out of 3 mining systems. They've asked for no tribute. A murmur of agreement. Vrexel's control was cracking. Enough, he hissed, stepping down. This vote was set. These theatrics, Elena interrupted, are a response to centuries of your diplomacy by decree. Your protectorates exist only to feed your core systems. Earth will not play along. He glared at her. You risk war. She stepped forward. Then fire the first shot. Let history record who bled to preserve their ego. The silence that followed was not the kind Vrexel was used to. It didn't flatter him. It isolated him. A holographic window opened near the AI's station, showing the fleet in full detail, angles, mass, armaments, energy signatures. The room watched. No one moved. Elena held the moment. Our fleet is not the culmination of Earth's strength. It's just the visible part. What matters more is what forged it, our refusal to be conquered, our unity under pressure, our ability to learn, adapt, and endure. She looked at the delegates one by one. We are not your next vassal. We are your future allies, or your biggest mistake. Later, as the high table called an emergency adjournment, Elena stepped onto the station's viewing deck. Stars stretched in all directions, but it was the Terran fleet that commanded the void now, silent, motionless, but undeniable. Malik joined her, arms crossed. You think they'll vote again? He asked. They'll have no choice, she said. The only thing more terrifying than our weapons is the idea that we're not afraid to use none of them. A ping. Dazzle's message. One line, we speak with you tomorrow. Officially. Elena smiled slightly. The storm hadn't come in guns blazing. It had waited. And now, it was seen. Dawn aboard Concord Dawn was marked not by sunlight but by protocol. Lights brightened, air recycled, and the high table reconvened with stiff precision. Yet beneath the polished routine, the room buzzed with uncertainty. The delegates had seen the Terran fleet. What they hadn't seen, what unsettled them most, was that Earth hadn't fired a single shot. Captain Elena Rourke walked back into the chamber, posture straight, expression calm. She didn't smile. This wasn't a victory lap. It was the final negotiation before the scales tilted, permanently. Vrexel Tharn stood in silence at the speaker's podium, fingers locked behind his back. His usual grandeur had dulled, still intact, but no longer absolute. Elena Rourke, the Concord AI intoned. You may proceed. Elena scanned the room. Dazzle's speaker XTLI floated in the upper tier, now in a central position, a silent declaration that something had changed. I offer no speeches, Elena began. You've seen what you needed to see. I only offer one final declaration. Earth will not be a pawn in anyone's empire. We offer partnership, not obedience. Vrexel finally moved. You presume much, Captain. Intimidation does not build alliances. Neither does arrogance, she answered smoothly. But we've come to offer something better, balance. From the side, the feline Tari envoy rose. Madam Speaker, he said, facing the chamber. The Tari delegation withdraws from the vote to deny Earth's recognition. We support their petition in full. Gasps, murmurs. Vrexel's mouthparts twitched. Dazzle spoke next. We echo the Tari. Earth extended help without condition. That action defines sovereignty more than any fleet. Within moments, 4 more species aligned with Earth. Smaller voices, once silent under Concord pressure, now spoke freely. Confidence was contagious. The vote was called again. Motion: grant Earth full sovereign parity and open Concord membership. One by one, holograms blinked green. Vrexel watched the count climb, his influence thinning with each second. Finally, the AI confirmed. Motion passed. Earth granted full sovereign status within the Concord. A single knock from the speaker's staff sealed it. Elena exhaled once. Then nodded. Thank you. Vrexel found her alone on the upper balcony after the session, where the stars glimmered undisturbed by politics. You believe this changes everything? He said, approaching slowly. No, she replied without turning. It confirms what was already changing. He stopped beside her. You've gained your title. But you've disrupted an order older than your civilization. She faced him, voice steady. Then maybe that order needed disrupting. His gaze narrowed. You've made enemies. We've made allies, she countered. And they made themselves enemies the moment they chose to suppress instead of uplift. He studied her in silence. You think Earth can handle what comes next? She nodded. We've handled extinction-level events before we left our own solar system. Don't confuse age with strength. There was a flicker of something behind his eyes, not respect, not quite. Perhaps acknowledgement. You've gambled boldly, Captain. It wasn't a gamble, she said. It was preparation. The difference is everything. Vrexel left without another word. Back aboard UNS Aegis, Elena stepped into the command deck. The crew rose briefly, acknowledging her with silent respect. Fleet status? She asked. All ships green, Malik reported. We've received 12 Alliance inquiries. 4 confirmed. Dazzle's already sending a delegation to Earth, Dr. Kwan added. And 3 Concord observers requested access to our fusion core schematics. Elena raised an eyebrow. Denied, obviously. Obviously, Kwan said with a smirk. She sat in her command chair. Good. Keep the fleet in low orbit. No movements without authorization. Malik hesitated. What about Phase 2? Elena glanced at the secure pad resting beside her console. Not yet. Let the galaxy absorb what just happened. We speak softly, until we don't. A pause. Then she tapped the console and opened a secure channel. To all Allied vessels and embassies, she said. This is Captain Elena Rourke. Earth has been recognized. But recognition is not the end. It's the beginning. We will lead not with fear, but with example. We welcome those who seek fair trade, equal voice, and shared defense. She paused, then added, "And to those who still doubt us, keep watching." On the far side of the galaxy, in a shadowed chamber beneath an icy moon, a different assembly watched the replay of Earth's fleet reveal. An ancient species, silent and exiled, recorded the moment carefully. One leaned forward and whispered in an unknown tongue, "The humans have arrived." Another answered, "And now, the real balance begins." Later, Elena stood alone in her quarters, lights dimmed. Her eyes traced the curve of Earth's rising flag on her shoulder. They'd come to the stars as newcomers. Now they stood among the architects. And they weren't done.